Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Basic Trouble podcast. I'm your co-host Ashish.
And I'm Nirupama. Today we've got with us Adhir Punja, if I'm pronouncing that right. So,
Yep.
Adhir, you're a full-time musician, right?
Kind of, yeah. I'm a full-time musician, but I also am a full-time football coach.
It's very interesting, actually. A little about Adhir because so he sent me his bio, and the interesting thing is he's done so much stuff that I can't really get everything on the same page. But yeah, he was a part of a band called Broken Membrane, which was hard rock. They've released a full-length album. They released it in 2013, and it's called The New Age. He launched an EP with a band called Defyd in 2014. He's been interviewed with three different bands, three times on radio, and he's been featured in over 15 newspaper articles. He's played with several. He's played with a lot of bands in one of the best venues in the city, the Humming Tree. We all miss the place, but yeah. And he's played in Take Five, Doff Pub, Opus, Warehouse, and a lot of places like that. He's uh, he's done a lot of judging for battler bands at Dayan Sagar and Bangalore Institute of Technology, and the instrumental solo at Jain College. Um, he also, I think you play a lot of instruments. You play like the guitar and the drums, and you sing, right?
Mainly, yeah. I was a drummer primarily, but now I'm a guitarist singer.
Okay. So, Adhir, tell us a little about yourself, your work, the number of bands, and we'll get started there.
Right. As I mentioned in the bio, I started playing music very late. By the time I started, everyone around me were professionals already. So I was very influenced by a lot of my classmates from Kumurans. Also, a lot of my batchmates who were musicians right from when they were younger, when they were kids, they started learning.
Mm-hmm.
So in our college days and in our PUC days, that's when I used to watch them play shows, and I used to be on the other side, in with the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to keep thinking that I should maybe try this sometime. So it was when I was 19 years old. Like by the time they were all really good. They were professionals, and I decided I'm going to try to do something with music. So I didn't really have enough money to buy a drum kit. I didn't have I didn't have the time or the money to go for classes either. So I just bought this one of my friends. I used to play snooker with him. He was selling his old Indian kit. I still remember it's called a Chowdhury. It's a Chowdhury drum kit.
Mm-hmm.
It was already cheap, and then on top of that, it was second hand. It was broken down. All the skins were torn and stuff like that. So I bought that from my friend, from that guy, and I didn't. I just came and I patched it up on my own. Bought some new skins, and I set it up in my house, and that's where my drumming journey started. Basically, anything related to music. That's where it all started for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I first was playing with a band called 710. That was actually the two other people from that band were also from Kumurans,
I
my
think I
seniors.
know this band. Did you guys perform in a lot of school days and stuff?
No, we played at Mount Carmel's once,
Right, right.
but not in school.
Mm-hmm.
We never played in school. School that so my friends, my batchmates, the ones that I told you about who
Mm-hmm.
influenced me to pick up the instrument, they played for a band called Plan B.
Okay.
So I think you guys might know, because in Kumurans they were the one of the few people that from my batch that got any recognition. They were, Siddhant Prasad, Aditya Jairam, all those, Yashasvi,
I think I know Siddharth Prasad.
Siddhant. Okay,
Okay,
so
not
Siddhant.
Siddhant, not Siddhant. I know a Siddharth Prasad.
No. So these are all my batch people. So they were all from that band, and they helped me with getting into music.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, after that, so 710 was my first band, and my first show with 710 was at this place back in 2010. This place doesn't exist anymore, but back in 2010 there was a place called Kaira, and
Okay.
that was in Indranagar. So all the best bands used to like basically it was like the humming tree back when
Mhm.
music was live music was happening,
Mhm.
and a lot of good bands used to have play over there. And yeah, we played our first show there. Then we played at a couple of more places, and there's IBS College on Kanakpura Road, and
Mhm.
few other places. And but yeah, that was just me like 3 months into drumming. So it was just very simple, straightforward stuff back then. So then that band didn't really work out, and then I got in. I started practicing a little bit more, and finally I kind of had a little bit of money to buy a decent drum kit. So I got my second drum kit, which I have
Mhm.
till now, which is the Dixon.
Mhm.
So then that's when I met Bharat from Broken Membrane.
Okay.
Uh, this was in my second year of college. So in between that, I jammed with a lot of people, and it kind of didn't work out.
Mhm.
But with Bharat, we kind of really gelled well. So I met Bharat at the Metallica concert.
There was a
He was
Metallica
there with his
concert in
friends.
2010 or something like that, right? I think it
Yeah,
was
in
right
Palace
around the
Grounds.
time
That's the one.
Swedish House Mafia came to Bangalore.
Probably. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was. So it was at the Metallica concert where I met Bharat,
Mhm.
and he was with his friends, and I was with my friends, but we kind of knew each other from Facebook or something like that, and we got to talking after the concert, and we decided to create this project called Broken Membrane.
Mhm.
And it was just a three-piece hard rock band where Bharat was playing guitars, and I was there was a guy called Nakul who used to play the bass, and I used to drum and sing.
Mhm.
So that is pretty much the toughest thing I've done in my life right now. Drumming and singing is quite a task.
Yeah, actually, I actually was listening to your album right after I got you sent me your bio, and dude,
Okay.
I actually like the songs. Like it's a little obvious that you are drumming and singing, but I mean it's actually really nice. I really like the drum work and the guitar work on it. You know, it.
Yeah, so it was my first time singing. I was kind of experienced a little bit in drumming,
Mhm.
but I wasn't a proper professional singer at that time. So we were looking out for a vocalist, but then one day while we were jamming in my house, I was just kind of singing along to the songs that we were playing, and then we just stopped, and they were like, "Oh, okay, how about you just you just continue singing." So that's how it all started, and yeah, it's been pretty tough. But yeah, those songs that you heard, they're like a mix of like we were heavily influenced by a band called Alter Bridge, which till now is my favorite
Dude,
band of all
Alter
time.
Bridge is a wonderful band. Like I listen to a crazy lot of Alter Bridge.
Nice. So Miles Kennedy is my all-time favorite vocalist,
Mhm.
and the band made Bharat and me who we are today.
Mhm.
Bharat and I, sorry. And yeah, our songs are kind of a mix between Metallica-esque riffs and Alter Bridge riffs, kind of like that, and vocal style as well.
Mhm.
So that's what a new age was like.
I think Sweet Release had a lot of Metallica. I mean, I could
Yeah,
obviously get the Alter Bridge vibe from a new age in Sweet Release. Like I got the
right.
drumming and I'm like, huh, this sounds like Metalingus, nice.
Yeah. I was heavily influenced by Scott Phillips, the drummer of Alter Bridge.
That's understandable, dude. I think every musician goes through that Alter Bridge phase.
Right. I mean, they're very underrated in this country for sure. My dream
Yeah.
has always been to watch them live. But I was lucky enough to watch Miles live with Slash, so I'm at
2015,
least happy about
yeah,
that.
he came.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So I've been convincing Ashish to listen to Guns N' Roses at least I think for a year now.
Oh, okay.
And
I think
yeah, I'm pretty sure he muted himself. Like he's like, I'm not going to answer this question.
Okay, but like being a drummer, like wouldn't you already like listen to bands like Guns N' Roses and stuff like that?
so my thing, like similar to you. So I came from a jazz background. So
Oh,
I was
nice.
playing the drums as a jazz drummer. So think of the movie Whiplash. So
Yeah,
that kind
yeah.
of stuff. So I
Right.
only started listening to heavy metal around 2014-15
Oh,
when uh,
okay.
when a friend introduced me to Slipknot. So like my uh, metallic drumming is mainly like Joey Jordison or that guy from Deathblade. I keep forgetting his name, but yeah, like him. So like
Okay.
fast drumming. So it's not really too complicated, but it's quick.
Right.
That kind
Right.
of drumming. How about yours?
Nice.
Like, are you more of the are you more of like into speed or into like technical drumming stuff like that?
Yeah, so for me, like I was very lucky to be a part of two different, very very different bands at the time that we were at our peak, and because of that, I kind of got to learn different styles of drumming so that I could incorporate them in these bands. So right from hard rock, I used to play hard rock with Broken Membrane, and then with Defyd, we used to play progressive, more metal, so things like Tool and Porcupine Tree and Carnival and stuff like that.
Mm.
You opened for Carnival,
So
right?
yeah, Broken Membrane, we opened for Carnival in Kolkata. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so my drumming, I would say that I prefer more of the hard rock, style with more of double bass fills and simple work. So, but yeah, I have tried my hand with a bit of blues and jazz as well, because the last band that I played with before I started playing guitar and singing was a band called the Great Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
we used to cover quite a lot of blues and jazz. So that was a really good band. There are a couple of African musicians who are fantastic. They're here on an African on a music visa, so
Mm-hmm.
they're really on artist visa. So
Mm.
very talented people, and as yeah, we played a very very good New Year's show at Leela Palace. So that was fun,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of old school kind of music along with some jazz and blues elements.
So, I've got a
You
question for
mainly
you. You judge in a lot of Battle of the Bands, and
Yeah.
yeah. So, I think what is one thing that really stands out when you judge somebody? So, I was a part of a band. I used to sing
Hmm.
for them. I used to like go to music classes, and then I slowly moved into Western, and I was singing. And we went to like a couple of Battle of the Bands, and it was always this one band just coming and winning. But yeah, they were really good, of course. But what is the one thing that probably differentiates music from when you were performing or when you started out to now?
Oh, that's something that I noticed a lot as when I used to judge, which is the level of talent and the competition has really gone up in this last decade. So basically, when we used to play together, when I started off, it was very simple, kind of very few bands were there that used to really kill it and
Mhm.
used to stand out.
Mhm.
Most of the bands used to just play the generic, classic rock stuff and very simple four chord progression stuff and all that.
Mhm.
But now with the last few bands battles that I've judged in the last couple of years, seeing the talent is very impressive because they're doing some they play some really technical things. There's some bands that have taken into fusion and they mix Carnatic with rock and metal and things like that.
Mhm.
Things that I would never even thought of back when we were performing.
Mhm.
So those are the bands that kind of stood out for me in the recent times
Mhm.
so like
because they're bands that are very technical and not just showing up for a battle just for the sake of it. Play a few songs, and yes, of course, the second thing would be originality. Uh, we always you give more priority towards the bands that show their original songs and their creativity rather than the bands that just come and play a few covers.
Mhm. That obviously makes sense. I think writing an original has like a whole lot of work that goes into it, which is
Yeah, definitely.
do you think there was a particular point where this growth happened? Like, is there any movie or any particular band that came to India that sort of caused this massive growth, or do you think it just happened to that?
I feel like it has a lot to do with the tastes and influences of the musicians, right? Like what they
Hmm.
listen to. So back when we were in PUC and college, we were only listening to, like, you know, you go to a pub and get some beer and listen to some classic rock. So most of our influences and most of our songs were very similar to that lines. Taste was also heavy metal or hard rock, but the kind of with the, you know, the kind of musicians that have grown up in the last who've started learning music in this generation, rather your generation,
Mm-hmm.
they're really their music taste and their influences are so complex and so different from what we used to listen to. So that really helps. I know that there are a lot of people who've kind of got into classical music a lot more these days, and I'm very happy about that because it's also nice to you know, like, know where you know your roots and know where you came
Mm-hmm.
from.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are people who are using that and blending that with rock and metal. So that's why I think that's what the difference is, that the taste and influences in the musicians these days.
Mm-hmm. So, what are your influences? I mean, I know Alto Bridge. I've
Yeah.
heard a couple of Beatles covers and all that, but yeah, just name your influences and think maybe a song that stood out.
Uh, for an album, definitely the Blackbird album from Alter Bridge really shaped my musical preferences, and it's that album really changed my life. And apart from the album and apart from that band, so like I said, I listen to all different genres and I listen to different languages and stuff like that. So each genre and with each language, I have certain people that I really admire. So if it's say rock, I love if I have to focus on vocals rather. Firstly, I listen to people like Chris Cornell and Eddie Vedder and Miles Kennedy. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's guitarists, then I try to follow Mark Tremonti and Jimmy Page and those kind of so retro guitarists and things like that. Drummers would be, I'm very influenced by Keith Moon from The Who, Neal Pert from Rush.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, the Rush drummer
yeah,
is.
sure, exactly. So those are my biggest influences. John Bonham, of course, of Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, so individually those, and then different languages and things like that. I'm a big fan of Raghu Dixit, and I've had the pleasure to meet him a few times as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, like whenever I've been performing a few of my shows in one of my regular places here in JP Nagar, a lot of people from the film industry have actually recorded some of my some songs of me, and they've sent it to Raghu Dixit as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got to know him, and he has been very helpful. He kind of guides me and advises me a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
he's another person that I'm very inspired by.
Okay. Okay, this is. I think this is a question we ask almost every artist who comes on board. What is one genre that, I mean, you completely dislike? You would not have anymore. One genre you would kill.
Oh, I would say trance.
Hmm. Why so?
Generally anything that has to do with electronic music, I'm not a fan of.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just can't relate to it. That's all. I mean, I have nothing against the people who listen to it, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And because I have genuine love and appreciation and respect for musicians who use instruments to compose stuff, and that takes a lot of hard work and effort. Because
Mm-hmm.
I've done it myself, and I know what kind of work goes into making songs like this using instruments.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's genres like that with electronic stuff, it just makes me very upset, and that they kind of they're a lot more successful than really hardworking musicians. So that's
That
why I
actually
wouldn't.
makes a lot of sense.
I think
So I think, yeah.
success in general has sort of been like most bands that sort of sound the same are usually the bands that become, like super huge. At least like if you look at like throughout the history of music itself, right?
Yeah,
Most of the trendy hit bands are often bands that sort of follow suit and do and sort of play the kind of music that is popular at the time.
right. Yeah. So ultimately, it's what the crowd are listening to at that point of time.
Yeah.
Whatever they're listening to, and what you just to make the fans happy, you kind of try to sound just like the next band that the crowd like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing about commercial music. That's exactly why I dislike commercial music, electronic music, because it's probably catchy for all the people that are listening to it right now,
Mm-hmm.
and just because of that, they're just making very similar four chord progressions, just adding some bass, adding some beats, and doing everything without, we just using buttons.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's not something that I would. I mean, like I said, no offense to people who listen to it and who like it, but I wouldn't personally call that music
Mm-hmm. So,
for sure.
yeah, I've got a question. Apart from Alter Bridge, because now we know that's very established that it's your favorite band, given that you're wearing an Alter Bridge shirt.
Yeah,
Okay, what's the one band that you would give it all to be a part of?
to be a
As
part of.
anything, I mean, like bassist, drummer, whatever.
Uh, So, I mean, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but apart from Alter Bridge, there's also another. So there were two bands that I can't believe I forgot. So yeah, Carnival. Carnival is another
Mm-hmm.
band that are my idols. They were my idols when I was in college, and always just dreamt of watching them live. And
And you're all
but yeah,
you're all open for them, so that's
yeah, that was a
bro.
crazy
That's some
crazy
life
story.
goals actually.
Yeah, it was a really really crazy story. So basically, should I tell you about
Yeah,
how that
yeah.
was, how
Go
that
ahead,
went?
go ahead.
Yeah, so we were Bharat and I just found out that Carnival are coming to India, so that they were planning to come to IIT Chennai first, and that was a Saturday, and the next day they were going to go play in Kolkata.
Mhm.
So we had this plan that so the boys from Defyd and Broken Membrane, like we were all like one family. I
Mhm.
used to play with these two bands, but more than that, we were like brothers. We used to hang out together all the time,
Mhm.
and we planned to basically drive down to Chennai, like all of us from both the bands,
Mhm.
and catch the show and stay over and come back the next day.
Right.
So one day, like maybe a week before the gig, we were literally ready to buy the tickets for to the IIT Chennai show, and then we get a call from one of the organizers at Nico Park in Kolkata, and they were
Mhm.
like, "You guys are selected to open for Carnival." So like we started freaking out and we were flipping out so much, and for me it was doubly special because Bharat and Nakul were they were going to go to Kolkata directly, but Defyd, my other band, was selected to also perform at IIT Chennai.
Ooh.
So my journey was I kind of so I went with Defyd. We drove down to Chennai. Uh, we had a real killer gig at IIT Chennai, and watched Carnival play that night for the first time in my life, and I was almost in tears. And after that, the very next morning, like we partied that night, and then the very next morning, I had to catch a flight to Kolkata. So these
Mhm.
guys were waiting for me there. So I had to catch a flight there and perform with Broken Membrane there.
Mhm.
So it was a very nice experience. And then we reached there and we finished setting up and the sound check and everything like that. And then this is during the afternoon, so we finish our sound check and everything,
Mhm.
and we come off, and our dressing room is right next to their dressing room. So we're sitting there, and then the band come after that, and then they come and join us, and we sit and talk to them for a while, and also it was quite nice. They were very helpful, as most big artists are, most big musicians are very humble
Mm-hmm.
and very helpful. So yeah, it was really crazy. And then after that, it was about maybe around 7:30 that we were supposed to go on stage.
Mm-hmm.
So so because before that it was the afternoon and we were inside. So it was I went outside. I took a look and it was completely empty.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 7:30 was the next time we came out of the dressing room. So we came out and I get on stage, and then I look up in front and it's pitch dark, and then suddenly the lights come on and there are probably like about 5 to 7,000 people in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the highlight of my time with Broken Membrane.
Mm-hmm. That's actually a pretty interesting story. I mean, headlining or like opening for your, yeah, opening for like the band or a band you're like a crazy fan of is like a dream come true for most artists.
Yeah, definitely. Makes it all worthwhile. Just whatever, all the hardships, all the hard times, all everything that you went through to get there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different feeling altogether when you're staring at that crowd, or when you're meeting your idols and you're just about to go on stage before them.
Mm-hmm. That's actually very interesting. What is one thing you hate about the music industry today?
Today, or the fact that the live music scene is so dead in our city right now.
Talk about it.
So the band, it's like band after band after band since the last few years, and it's been very difficult for people like me, especially who like we don't have other jobs. There are musicians that also have other jobs, but
Mm-hmm.
for me, this is my bread and butter. So it's been very difficult, and that's pretty much the reason why I got into coaching as well.
Right. Yeah, I think the
We also
live
had the
music scene is kind of dying down in Bangalore given that they shut. I think Humming Tree was one of the big live music thing,
Yeah,
especially
so
for a
many
lot of
Humming
bands.
Tree, B flat, Blue Frog, all so
Right.
many iconic places.
Mm-hmm. Ashish, you were saying?
yeah, we had a guest on a few weeks ago who was basically talking about the same thing about how, but I don't think it was exactly the same complaint. He was talking about how new bands don't really get a chance to play in most of these bars unless like they bring in a certain number of people.
So he
Right.
was a DJ, right? He's a DJ, and he was telling us on
Yeah,
how there are like 5 DJs in Bangalore, and they're the only guys who are just called over and over again. And the organizers are not going to let a new person play unless you bring in a certain amount of money, and that's completely guaranteed.
Yeah, on the one hand, of course, there's talent from coming in from the artist, but on the other hand, it's also a business point of view for the pub owners, right? So
Mm-hmm,
that's
yeah,
something
yeah.
that so they look at that first and foremost, because even experienced artists who've been around for a while, they're not going to get new venues. They'll probably have their normal regular venues, but they won't get new venues unless they promise a good enough crowd. So it
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah.
It's not just the same uh, with DJs or with musicians. Rather, it's not just the same with new artists. It's the same. It holds good for even experienced artists, because at the end of the day, the pub owners, they kind of look at it from a business point of view.
Yeah,
mm,
yeah, I think that's understandable, but given the fact that so when I was singing, what we used to do is the only gig we actually got was I mean an open mic.
Hmm.
So we weren't great, but I mean we liked what we did, and they're very hostile towards new artists in a way.
It depends on where you play, because the way I look at it is open mics are a great way for new artists to show their talent, because as much as they would want, like paid gigs immediately and
Yeah,
want,
I think paid gigs
you know,
are very tough that way.
Yeah, and you got to start somewhere. Like I mentioned, when I used to play with 710 and Broken Memory in earlier days,
Mm-hmm.
we used to play at this place called Kaira and a few other places, and those were all literally known for open mic. Most of some of the really good bands and some of the best musicians that I know kind
Mm-hmm.
of got discovered at that place. So
Right.
every year we used to go there every Tuesday. Like we were all there, like almost all the musicians in the city, the best musicians. We used to go there and we used to play a really fun open mic set out. Like
Mm-hmm.
each of us would probably each band would play like 10-15 minutes
Mm-hmm.
and have a nice time at the end, have a few drinks and head home. But years later, I see some of these artists who are really made it good for themselves, so yeah, open mics are a good way of. I used to organize, so I play. I'm the resident musician at this place called Casa Picosa in JP Nagar.
Yeah, we've heard of it.
Yeah, so I have been performing there every Friday or every Saturday, one of the days, but every weekend since 2017. So it's been
Mm-hmm.
3 years now. And I used to, so after my first year of performing there, I also started hosting the open mic nights there. So
Right.
I've seen a lot of good young budding musicians.
Yeah, I think I know a lot of people who used to perform there, and
Okay, at Casa.
yeah, yeah. I think there's a singer called Vandita or something.
Yeah, she was a regular there as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's a very, again, all these people kind of have got a good following now because at one point in time, all of them did some shows at these open mic venues, and that kind of builds your fan base and builds your followers. So
Mm-hmm.
good, so that you start off there, and then if you have a paid show one day, and if the pub owners trust you with a paid gig, then you can bring all these people from like who've come and watched you at the open
Yeah.
mic.
What is one thing you would say to up and coming musicians?
Uh, I don't think I'm anybody who can give them any advice,
I
but
mean,
I
given that you've
just
been
tell
in the
them,
industry for quite a while now.
yeah. So I can just tell them like how the feeling is right now because as far as any advice, musical advice kind of thing is concerned, I am like I said, I have zero knowledge when it comes to theory in music, and also I don't consider myself a singer or a vocalist either. I just try to dabble with as many things as I can.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell them that like it's been a really, it's going to be a really crazy journey if this is what you want to do. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're actually going to do it, and if you do it seriously and put in as much hard work as you're supposed to, then the end result is really really worth it. Because there are going to be some really really tough times. There are going to be some messed up times that the city is going to throw at you, and organizers are going to mess with you, and
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have, yeah, you're going to face all kinds of shit. But at the end of it, it's very very worthwhile. The satisfaction that you get when you perform on stage and people are cheering for you, especially when it's your own music,
Mm-hmm.
it's something that is definitely worth all the trouble.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Talking about that, you said that you sort of learned on the job, right? Would that be fair to say that you learned the instruments on the job?
Yeah, I learned instruments pretty much through watching YouTube videos.
Which ones? Like, if anyone is hoping to start, was there any particular
Um,
that you started, or
oh, I don't remember. Actually, I mean, this was like years ago. Now I just experiment on my own, but back when I started, it was 2010. So around that time, uh, I don't know who was.
What is one YouTuber who helped you or aided you in a very
When it comes to drumming, so there's this guy called Luke Holland who back when I first started drumming, he was insane. Like he was just 17 or 18 at that time,
mm-hmm.
and he was so good that all his videos just became really they became famous overnight, and he also got asked to play for this band, this metalcore band that I really like. One of this band called Word Alive, the Word Alive.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, back then I used to listen to quite a bit of metalcore, like Asking Alexandria, Word Alive, As I Lay Dying, those kind of bands.
Okay.
So Luke Holland was this YouTuber who used to put up videos, and then he was asked to be a part of that band. So he's one. And then there's also I used to watch a lot of Thomas Lang's videos for drums.
Mm-hmm.
So that was back then, but right now I would definitely say that there's this guy called Jared Dines who
Yeah.
I follow.
Mm-hmm.
So he's funny, and he also puts up some
So
good
you
content.
probably heard of Project Mishram and
Yeah, I do. I mean, I speak to Shivraj like on and off.
oh,
Like,
that's nice. That's nice. So
yeah.
yeah, I think I mentioned this band every episode we've got. Like,
Okay.
so I watched these guys live, and dude, they were amazing. Like, so I
Yeah.
listen to a lot of Agam and Kale Vikuri and all that, and I
Mm.
watched these guys live, and they actually blew my mind.
Yeah, they're one of the. I would definitely say they're one of the bands in the current music industry that are extremely talented and will go places without a doubt. Like, if I had to put my money on one of these bands, it would be them.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's considering like the genre. So what they're doing right now is very different from what other bands are doing,
Mhm.
and
I
so
think
so
they've
they're
got a very tight set in general, I feel.
yeah, just everyone, each of them individually are so talented, and like when they play together, there's no like no fuck ups. They're not. It's just completely. It's very tight. No, they're not sloppy. They don't sound
Yeah,
sloppy at all.
yeah.
They're just very very tight with each instrument.
Mhm. Um, okay, so if you weren't um doing classic rock or I might say hard rock, what or jazz, what genre would you like to get into?
So yeah, progressive. That's the other genre that
So
I
I'm
was.
guessing Tool, Opeth influences.
Yeah, Tool and Carnival. That
Okay.
kind of. Yeah.
Oh, so Carnival's prog, is it?
Yeah, Carnival are pretty much prog giants
Mhm,
like
mhm,
Tool. So that would be, yeah. If it was not rock, it would be prog.
mhm.
It's a weird question that I have that's not really related to the convo, but do you think there'll be like a post-COVID uh, boom for live shows, given that people have been cooped up for so long? Do you think they'll?
Yeah, whenever that happens, I mean, like that's a very good point. I'm pretty sure. I hope, I do hope, but I'm also a little sure because I know that I definitely want to get back on stage, and I know that I also want to watch people, other bands as well. So, and I'm pretty sure you guys also
Mhm.
definitely want to go for a show. So yeah, that. I agree with you. I think that once all this gets better, whenever that happens, there will be a big demand for artists, provided the music ban and stuff like that doesn't come in the way.
Hmm.
What
I'm
is
just
the
looking
most
forward to like I'm just looking forward to like the first post-COVID mosh pit. How
uh,
mentally stressful that will be.
Oh yes, I think everyone's. It's going to be a very lethargic mosh pit because everyone's going to be so unfit, and
Yeah.
I for one have completely let myself go. So because I don't have football anymore to keep myself fit, and I'm sure a lot of people are in my like the same situation that
we
I'm in.
didn't
So
have anything to keep ourselves fit to begin with, so we're worse off than we started.
so yeah, so that first mosh pit is just going to be a bunch of people just like lying down on each other probably, or just falling down on each other.
Okay, so what's one band which is not Metallica, which is not Carnival, whose live show impressed you the most? Or if that's a confusing question. What is the most memorable gig you performed? Cannot be the carnival one.
That I've watched, the most memorable live act that I've watched.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple. Definitely Maiden for one.
Ooh, dude, you watched Maiden.
I watched Maiden twice. The first time was during our 10th standard board exams in Kumurans, and the second was
Ah, there we go.
exactly 2 years
Here we
later.
have a true Kumaranite.
Yeah, so it was before our science paper or something, and like all of us, we went for Maiden. We were 15 that time, and the
Mm-hmm.
second time was exactly 2 years later, like during our second board exam, second PC board exams.
Uh-huh.
So we were in Jain College that time. Same bunch of us. We went for that as well. So
That's
that's one.
Maiden
I
has
would say
got a very
Lamb of
beautiful
God
sound.
as well.
Ooh.
So I'll also say live set energy wise, hands down Gojira. Gojira are insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Did you
Gojira and
go
Lamb
to
of
the
God as
Opeth
well.
show recently?
Recently I didn't, but I went in 2014, I think, when they came. No,
I think they came to IIT
2013,
Chennai in 2011.
11.
Yeah. Bro, my college can't get Opeth or something. Actually.
That was the competition during between Mood Indigo and IIT Chennai, I think, when Chennai got Opeth and Mood Indigo got Porcupine Tree.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I think that happened. That's when Steven Wilson gave this interview in. So I think that's about the time. That that really nice song by Porcupine Tree. What is it called?
That narrows it down.
No, 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 no. Yeah, actually, that's. Wait. One second. Let me Google this. It was the first Porcupine Tree song I heard, and somebody this band
Lazarus.
Lazarus, yes. So this band from school performed. That's the reason I asked you whether you guys performed in school day or not. So there was this
Uh,
band which performed Lazarus in school day when I was in like the fifth grade. So I did not know what song it was. I did not know what band it was, and like in 12th I found out. It took me a while, but I got there. So
Not bad. Like fifth standard and all, listening to Porcupine Tree is pretty
no,
good.
that
I'll
was
give
the
you that.
only Porcupine Tree song I heard. Like
Okay.
I just heard Lazarus, and it was so wonderful, But
Yeah,
then I
I
found
do
out in
that
12th.
for my acoustic sets. I play it
Hmm.
with my acoustic sets as well.
So I think yeah, it was probably when Porcupine Tree came to India. So it was about how Steven Wilson removes his footwear before getting on stage and everything.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that's. So you watched Opeth live?
Yeah, Opeth, when they came here, I watched them. And that was, I think, at least about 7 years ago.
Yeah, I think they came last year and they came before during that Porcupine Tree Mood Indigo war thing.
That was a while ago. In the recent years, no, I haven't watched Opeth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Opeth's one of my favorite bands. I am obsessed with them, and I have
Uh,
multiple Opeth shirts.
oh, okay.
And I like convincing or tricking people into listening to Opeth. So.
One of my fondest memories is in college. Like we were pretty high, and we used
Mm-hmm.
to we were at so there's this local bar near our college called Santosh Bar, and that's where my friends and I spent most of our time, like more time in the bar rather than in college.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this one time when we were driving back, and we stopped somewhere near college, and we just sat in the car and we listened to Closure over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So because it just took us to another whole other level. That's my favorite song. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the football though. Like, how did that start? Were you a football player in college, in school? Did
yeah,
you?
I've been a I've been a footballer longer than I've been a musician. I've been a footballer longer than I've been anything in my life. So I used to play
Play
for
or do you
school.
also watch?
I'm sorry.
Do you just play or do you also watch a team, follow a team?
Oh, I'm a diehard Liverpool fan since 20 years.
Oh, This year's been
Yeah.
really good for you guys then.
Yeah, of course. It's 30 years in the making, and finally, it's
Yeah.
yeah, some glory after a
Yeah, I
long
think
time.
it'll be wrong to say I support Manchester United. That's just kind of sad right now. Like,
To each their own. It's fine. You'll have better years to come.
No, but you guys are
hopefully.
talking. At least you guys are money, man. Arsenal is just
Yeah.
sitting there.
Oh, you're an Arsenal fan, is it?
Yeah.
I Arsenal too. I was a big fan of Arsenal during their invincible era.
But that's so long ago, man.
Yeah,
15
so
years.
they're always going to be my second favorite team.
Mm.
So. But yeah, I used to play football since I was. I used to be a cricketer. I still am a cricketer as well. But so my dad is like he's very very sad that I didn't get into cricket full time because he's a cricket coach.
Mm-hmm.
But then I played cricket until I was 12, and then I started playing football rather until I was 11. And I played for school for Kumurans, and then like our batch was the first non-international school to take part in JN International Residential School, the JRS tournament.
Okay. Yeah, I think they sent
Uh,
us for that also when I was young.
right. So, but at that time in 2005, 2006, we were the first non-international school to take part in JRS.
Mm-hmm.
So, so then after that, I played for Jain College for my PUC as well, and then I was the captain of my college team in Dan and Sagar.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started playing professionally as side by side. I started playing for this club called BUFC, the Basangadi United Football Club.
Mm-hmm.
So I played C division and then I played B division for them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, played professionally for a few years, and then pretty much because, like I mentioned earlier, the music scene kind of started dying last year. So I eventually thought I would definitely get into coaching soon enough, but I mean, I thought in my 30s, late 30s.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the situation, I had to do this. I had to get some consistent income as well. So that's when I decided to finish. I finished my D license with All India Football Federation.
Mm-hmm.
Got my results earlier this year, and yeah, became a licensed coach.
That's actually wonderful.
Do you coach in BUFC or elsewhere?
No, I coach with the La Liga, with the Spanish La Liga academies here in India.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
cool.
So it's really nice. We're one of the few. I mean, we are actually the official La Liga academies that's affiliated to La Liga, because there's so many other academies with just the namesake, like the Barcelona Academy and things like that, but they have no connection with the club.
Mm-hmm.
But we are officially tied with La Liga. So, but I think 2 years ago, we sent about 5 kids to the Bernabeu and to Barca. So
Mm-hmm.
we have a lot of these kind of exchange programs and things like that, and even we got to learn from some of the coaches there and things like that. So I am the head coach at the Candor International School at the
Oh,
moment
okay. Okay. I've heard of
in Electronic
Bangalore.
City. Yeah. So I was appointed there through La Liga, and since the last 1 year, I've been the head coach there.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. Okay, so I think the podcast has been going on for almost an hour, so we'll wrap it up. You got anything to say, Adhir?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is fun. I haven't been on a podcast before, and people have been asking me, but I haven't
Yeah, I
really
practically
been
coaxed you into it, dude. Face it.
interested. Yeah, I'm glad I did it, and I definitely wouldn't mind doing it again as well. So you guys should yeah, check out, keep following my videos. I'll be putting up a few videos. I got some good equipment, so I've been working on some new stuff. I'm putting up a Linkin Park song later this week.
Okay,
On
so
which
every
channel?
episode we've got, there's always a mention of Linkin Park. I started music because of Linkin Park, and I was waiting for that. I was like, Linkin Park.
Right. No, I mean, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that I'm heavily influenced by their music or anything like that. But I was. It's just something that. I mean, it's just a song that every one of us probably grew up listening to,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
holds a special place in our heart. So I decided to do this later.
So I
So
think,
yeah,
I mean, even the
follow.
DJ we had said he started off mixing because of Linkin Park. Like he mixed the Linkin Park song and then got on there.
Oh, okay, nice,
So
nice.
we've got like, I think this is like a Linkin Park unofficial podcast or something. It's just fan club. Anyhow,
Right.
yeah, this was a fun episode. Ashish, you
Uh,
wanna wrap it up?
yeah. So I just want to ask, which channel was are you going to be posting the videos on?
I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't have a personal YouTube channel. With my band, I do have one, but it's kind of inactive right now. But for now, yeah, just follow my Facebook. Just follow me on Facebook, and I'll be posting my videos there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and yeah, if you guys can, and whoever is listening, just follow the Adhir Punja project. We are a hard rock band in English, Hindi, Kannada, and Tamil.
Ooh, Tamil
So
also nice.
little bit of Tamil, but mainly English, Hindi, and Kannada.
Mm-hmm.
And we're currently working on an album that we're going to be. We were supposed to release this year, but then all this stuff happened. So whoever wants to, yeah, follow us, just follow my page or follow the band's page, the Adhir
Mm-hmm.
Punja project, and yeah, we'll keep you updated on shows and stuff.
This was a fun episode. I think this was one of the most informative episodes we've had, which doesn't have a lot of nonsense deviating from topic. This is Nirupama, and thanks for being on the podcast, Adhir. And that's your co-host Ashish, who refuses to do the outro. If you like what you hear, or if you want to be a part of the podcast, like, share, subscribe to the Basic Travel podcast, and write to us or fill the form in the description with the topic you want to talk about, and we'd be glad to have you. Thank you and good night.